Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
I'm Brian.
And we are the Bakers of thebakers.tv. And we work online with men and women who want to create easy communication and deep connection in their relationships and their friendships. And we also work in particular with entrepreneurs. Tonight we're coming to you a little bit later on a weekend. But we are doing, in case you haven't joined us earlier this week, we are doing 16 days of 16 stories about our history and how God has shown up and shown off in our lives and really woven his story and his glory through it. So we are really excited. We actually hadn't gone live yet because we are on a coaching call with our mentor, Nicole Walters. And she's actually... her and this whole trip that we're doing is the reason that we started this. So we are talking about our blessings and thanking God and reflecting on our past, leading up to our trip to San Antonio to meet Nicole Walters and Dave Ramsey and Christy Wright. So we're really, really pumped.
Yep.
Any thoughts to add to that? I know. We're so excited. And we know a lot of you will be watching us on the recorded version of this, but we also thank you for those who are joining us live. I know it's a little bit late, and we're going to keep this short.
Nicole's fault.
It is Nicole's fault. We were going to go live, and then she started live, and we are like, well, we can't compete with that.
Nuggets.
Yeah, soaking up her nuggets.
That's
totally the phrase. That's exactly how you say it, actually. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about something that happened to us. We're not going to talk about what caused the scenario to happen because that's going to be actually another one of our stories within the next couple days, but we just weren't ready to share that tonight. So basically, we're going to take you back to the end of 2015, and we had just found ourselves being jobless and without a home to live. And we had 2 kids, 2 and under, and our third one on the way, Silas, who was a surprise. Total surprise. And a good surprise he is, but at the time it was kind of overwhelming in the midst of everything that we are going through.
And we just sold everything.
Yeah, we just sold all of our baby stuff, believe it or not. Actually, I was pregnant while we sold our stuff. Oops. So we found ourselves without a place to live, with no jobs, no income, no savings, no preparation for this. We were in the middle of paying off every possible dollar towards our student loan debt that we had, and we were trying to be responsible. We had our $1,000 Dave Ramsey savings account set up, and that was it. I was staying home with the kids, so I didn't have a job at this time. And so we had nowhere to go, and we didn't know what we were going to do. And we had lived in the same place for 5 years. And there was a lot of pain and hurt at the same time that we were going through this. So it's not only no jobs, no place to live, but there was a lot of hurt feelings, betrayal, understanding why this was happening, because we didn't understand. We went where we were from God's calling, and we didn't understand why he would just kind of cast us out like that and throw us out and not provide some type of warning, some type of place where we were going to live, some type of job. Like, we didn't get it. We really didn't. And so we ended up finding ourselves back in Ashland, Ohio, which is where Brian's originally from. And we essentially ended up couch surfing on his parents' couch with 2 kids, 2 and under, and me being pregnant. Yay.
We had a 2-bedroom apartment for a little while.
Yeah. But once we finally got in there, the fire alarm started going off every night. And
terrible.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating.
I don't think I've ever woken up to anything worse. Especially the first time. It's like, what is going on right now?
You're so confused.
I remember jumping on the bed and being like, I don't know what to do. It's so loud. I was asleep.
Yeah.
There are children here.
Yeah. If you're upset when people wake you up, just wait until they wake your children up, and then you want to see real piss. That's what that looks like. That's what that looks like, especially when you have them already having a hard time getting to sleep. Anyways, so needless to say, I was pissed. I was pissed at God. I was mad that we had put our lives on hold. We had chosen the path of not the easiest, to say the least. We had chosen to be okay living modestly and living literally under poverty level so that Brian could be in ministry. And we had a passion for it. We loved God and wanted to help others in that same process. And so I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that God just did that to us. It didn't make any sense to me. And then it seemed like he just kind of like stopped speaking to us. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, you did not just do that to us. But what was awesome and where God did show up, and I think that I didn't ignore it, but I didn't see it the way that I see it now looking back, is that he put people into our lives that were there for us in the moment. It might have not been the people that hurt us, who we thought were family, who we thought were friends, but you know what? We had people, and I think it even meant more because of it. He put other people in our lives. Brian, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So we were in a place where we needed a lot and didn't have anything, we just needed everything. And it was October when everything exploded. So the holidays were coming up. We had no money for presents. And we had 2 kids that were starting to get old enough that like Christmas is fun and they can unwrap things and get excited about it. And we're like, oh man, we have nothing.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of people that showed up in super cool ways. And like Erica was saying, people that we didn't even know. People brought us dinner and they're like, hey, we don't know you, but we heard that life is crazy right now. So here's food. And we had other people that didn't really know us. They just sent us money. They're like, hey, we want your kids to have Christmas presents this year. So
sent us an Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
That said, for the kids for Christmas, which just made me feel so much better. I know it sounds little, but it was a big deal because they were just starting to be able to be that age to remember.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it was really hard. But it was really nice to see that. And we knew it had to have been God because it wasn't people who felt to do this out of obligation because they were our friends. And so then they had it. No, it was strangers. It was friends of friends or relatives of friends that we've never met before and received a check to help us pay rent that month when we did end up finding a place like that. I mean, the reason that we're in the house that we're today is because we had someone that was in business with us that I'd met one time in person, and her family pitched in and helped us. They didn't know this at the time, but they sent us enough money for us to be able to put a down payment on this home. Like, that's the only reason that we have this home, because God moved in other people's hearts to allow us to have a home that we can now deem safe, that no occupation change is going to take away from us, that it is not owned. I mean, yes, the bank owns it, but it's not owned. It can't be taken away because someone doesn't like you. And we can create this to be a safe place. And it's a place where our family can grow and learn more about God together. And in order for me to kind of work through that, I feel like the biggest point where God showed up was when I went into a pretty deep depression, which was really easy to do while pregnant for me because that's already a pretty miserable process. My body does not handle it well. So when we were in this situation of having, a temporary housing at this point and no jobs, despite how hard we tried. Like, Brian even tried getting a pizza delivering job from the place that he worked his whole entire college career that always needed people to work there, and they didn't need people at this time. And that was the kind of I'm like, God, seriously, throw us a freaking bone. Like, we'll do anything. We have college degrees, but just give us a freaking job so we can have some type of income. And he wouldn't even open those doors. And that's when I got really mad. I was like, we're trying. Brian's like out there pounding the pavement, throwing resumes out there, talking to everybody he knows. He's from this town. He should be able to get a job. Everyone loves him there. And yet nothing, just silence from you, God, like just silence. Can you seriously tell me that this is what we do and then this is how you act towards us? And I just didn't even pray to him. I just thought this stuff in my head and I didn't even pray to him. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I don't even know if I want to be in a church ever again because I've been so hurt. And what I thought was cool is that God had lined up in his timing, one of our mentors, Mike Perkinson, and I had actually had a call with him that week. And he said, Erica, you know what, this thing that you're dealing with God, if you don't go to him and deal with this and deal with the fact that you feel abandoned from him or by him, and you felt like this numerous times before, and there's underlying issues that have caused you to feel this way and always look at him like he's abandoning you. If you don't deal with it now, you might get through this if a job comes through, but guess what? 10 years down the road, you're going to be dealing with the same crap again. And he said, take it from me. You want to deal with it now. So we did. And he advised that Brian and I, if I had the ability to be vulnerable enough in front of him, that I needed to sit down with him and just say everything that I could, that I felt to God. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And even just thinking about it gets me back to then. I didn't want to feel. I only wanted to be angry because it was the easiest thing. It was easier for me to be angry with him, with other people, than to allow the pain to actually set in, to start mourning. And I just wanted to be numb. I didn't want to actually feel. And he said, you need to do this. You need to go through that. You need to tell him how you're feeling. So I did, and I just told him exactly, including curse words, how I felt about him and what he had done to us and what he had put us through and how unfair it was, and unloaded. And I've never done that in my life, ever. And in the middle of that, of telling him how I felt, there was this heart change where I was like, man, but he's given me this amazing husband. He's giving me these amazing babies that we didn't think that we would be able to have. He's giving us friends and people that we don't even know to reach out to us, to help us in this time of need. And I hated being needy. I always want to be the one. We always want to be the person who helps others. And for us to be in the need spot yet again was driving me crazy. And I think he was just trying to teach us that we needed to be okay with receiving and how to receive. And then I just started thanking him. So there was a whole heart change of like, why did you do this? How could you have done this to us? How could those people have done that? To God, I'm so thankful for this. Like once I had gotten that out of the way almost, I just started thanking him for everything that he had given us. And it was just like tears falling down. Brian was holding me and he just was quiet. He was holding me. And I think in that night, it was one of those things that like, stop pushing that thing off that God's asking you to work through. It might be scary, but if you don't deal with it now, you're going to end up dealing with it later. And I can tell you right now, there has not been one moment since then that I can genuinely say, feel like I've been abandoned by God, which is huge because I used to feel that way all the time. I have not once felt like he abandoned me since then. And I thank him for showing up because after I had told him how I was feeling and then started thanking him for all of the blessings that he had given us and that mind shift, I felt this overwhelming peace. that makes no sense in the middle of everything. And that's been one of the ways that he's been able to show up throughout my life. Even before I had really a relationship with him, was when I asked for peace, he would give it to me, even if it didn't make sense. And he just gave me this overwhelming peace, like, I got you, girl. This is all part of it. Hindsight's always 20/20. And looking back, Brian and I were talking about how, it's the reason I think that he rescued us from there and took us out was because he was rescuing us, not because he was throwing us out, not because he was putting us into something worse, but he was bringing us to something better, even though it didn't feel like it in the time. I love our lives now. I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm living more in my purpose today than I did 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But we needed to go through that 5 years of really hard times in order to appreciate where we're at now and to help us derive the purpose and the mission of our lives. So even in the midst of feeling abandoned, God showed up. But I had to meet him there. I had to go there. I couldn't get to that point. And who knows, what if I hadn't done that? What if we wouldn't have gotten together and prayed and just told God really how it was and how we felt and how pissed we were with him? Would we still be bitter today? Would we have let that prevent us from everything that he's trying to make today?
Probably.
Don't make the same mistake. Just give it to him. He's strong enough. He wants you to be real. We want you to be real. That's what our whole lives are about. God, completely has changed our lives. I'm so thankful. Mm-hmm. Why do I want to nasty cry right now? I feel like those nasty coming on, and it's just a little crazy. We've just been really hearing from him today, so it's kind of emotional for me.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add?
Just that God is good, and I think that a lot of these times that we're sharing of the times where we see that God is awesome and that he loves us and that he's there for us is when things suck. And we have a choice of meeting him in those moments or abandoning him. He's going to be there for us. It's our choice. Are we going to meet him in those times and grow and have our lives be completely different? Or are we going to abandon him and try to go it our own? We've tried both. and connecting with God is definitely just ridiculously the better way to go. So when life sucks, meet God in those moments and get excited for what he's going to do. Yep.
And I think that's what we're slowly learning too, is the more crap that comes, it's initially when we first would encounter that, it's what the hell? What have we done wrong now? And now it's God's going to do something awesome. Get ready. He's about to do another awesome thing. Watch him through this. And I think that that's awesome. As you keep encountering tough situations or bad things, if you can shift your mind to think that, how different is that going to change your life, right? If you're oh man, this another bad thing happened. Let's see where God's going to show up in this, because it's going to be life-changing and form our lives in a whole new different way again. And it's been always a catalyst for amazing things if we let it, or it can be our downfall. So usually these are only supposed to be a couple minutes. We thank you for joining us. This is probably one of the more intense ones. We do have a couple of other ones. I know we only gave you a snippet of why we were without a home for a little bit, as well as no jobs. But We will dive into that a little bit deeper. We do want to share, we're open book. Like, you can ask us anything, we'll tell you. And most likely it's going to end with, 'cause God. I'm just saying it's going to probably end up with, 'cause God. So we decided to make t-shirts, and ours should be here soon. But yeah, so, well, we thank you guys so much for joining us. Hopefully this was uplifting for you, and we really, truly appreciate you always joining us. And if you want to, make sure, we would like you to make sure you stay in touch with us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and we're on all of those platforms at The Bakers TV. If you are watching from my personal page or Brian's personal page, please go over to our Facebook page and like it. Please, 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 so you can get notified of when we go live, because we're not going to always be doing these on my personal page, even though I love you guys. I don't know how much business stuff we can do on here, and I want to make sure you don't miss out on some of our stories or just our conversations, our real Q&As that we have when people want to ask us questions. So please, please, please go on over to our Facebook page. I'll put a link in the caption above so that you can do that. But it's also at The Bakers TV. So if you just want to type it in the search box, you can see it over there, and please go over in there like that so you don't miss out on anything. We love you, and thank you again for joining us.
Thanks,
we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, we're doing these every day for the next 11 days.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.